You know, a person is only as good as who you compare yourself to. You know, it's crazy that the people who think they're the best, the people who think they're the most righteous people, the people who think they are the most kind and the most loving people, are usually the ones that compare themselves to people who are not loving at all or people who are not kind at all. So they find people who are struggling in areas and they compare themselves to those people. I can be guilty of this, just like every other human being, you know. So we have to just be honest with ourselves and notice that we tend to compare ourselves to people who are doing much worse than us to make ourselves feel better, you know. So we step on others to bring ourselves up, and this is just human tendency. This is what the Bible has told us, you know. It's part of our heart, it's part of our nature. Right here in Proverbs 21 and 2. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord, he weighs the heart. And it's so true, you know. Almost everything we do, whether it's right or wrong, even if it's wrong, we'll come with an excuse, and we're very good at coming with the excuses for the things that we do wrong. You know, no matter what it is, if we do something wrong, we're automatically coming in our head. Well, you know, I had a bad day, or I haven't had much sleep, or I haven't ate yet, or they did this to me first, and and whatever the excuse is, it's never really a good excuse, but it sounds good to us. And whenever we compare ourselves to other people, we never seem to do it in the opposite direction. We never say, I'm such a good person, and then compare ourselves to Mother Teresa or compare ourselves to the missionaries that are traveling over the world. Or us as Christians, the people who are claiming faith in God, we never seem to compare ourselves to the early church. And this is something that I'm trying to do more and more. Whenever I feel myself, start feeling myself in an area, thinking maybe I'm passionate about the word, or someone might tell me, man, you're real passionate. You make a video, every day, and you tell people in the street about God, and you do this and that. But then I read in the Bible and I read in Acts about the apostles and how the church started out. These people were, selling everything they had, and they left out. They weren't accepting money or anything like that. These people were selling everything they had and then traveling, leaving their family to go spread the word, with nothing, and just, relying on the Lord to take care of them, take care of all their needs. So this is a whole different kind of faith and a whole different kind of passion that I'm not even close to. So I always can humble myself by looking at the early church and see, well, like, wow, I have nothing on them. And then to even take it a step further, we should always be comparing ourselves to Jesus. Jesus who died on the cross and was being cursed at and was being killed in front of his mother, and his friends rejected him, but still had so much love in his heart and was still able to forgive and pray for the people who were persecuted. So seeing this lets me humble myself even more. But the crazy thing is, the people who seem to don't believe in God, the people who don't believe in God, always seem to be the people who think the best of themselves. And this is the whole reason why they don't have a relationship with God. Because in order to have a relationship with God, it takes humility. It takes a contrite heart. And this is why Jesus says in the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount that those who mourn will be comforted, and that blessed are the poor in spirit are the people who are blessed. And blessed meaning having this relationship with God. Right here in Luke 5:31 and 32, people were asking Jesus why he was talking with these sinners and why he was eating with all these sinners. And this is how he replied. And Jesus answered them, "Those who are well have no need for a physician, but those who are sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance." So many people can't find a relationship with God because they don't feel like they need one, because they don't see themselves as sinners, because they spend all their time comparing themselves to people who are obviously a lot worse than they are in areas, and they compare themselves always to people who are not doing things as good as they're doing, whether it's in kindness, or whether it's in charity, or whether it's in self control. They're always looking at people who are doing worse, but they never compare themselves to people who are doing better. And the more you do this, the more self righteous you become, the further you are with God. So it takes a humble heart, and it takes knowing that you're a sinner, because the Bible tells us that all have sinned and all have come short of the glory of God. So we all need God, that's for sure. But He's only coming to those who recognize their need for God. So if you haven't come to repentance, and if you haven't started comparing yourself to Jesus, if you haven't started comparing yourself to people who are doing better than you, you'll never notice your need for God. So it's very important that we remember this, because this is what initiates our relationship with God. There's no way to have it without humility, without repentance. Something to think about.